Hello and welcome to a new video with my Volvo project here. In this video I'm going to show you a little bit on the engine here, what parts I have got for the car since last time. I got a new gearbox over there that I'm going to install, and I'm going to answer a couple of your questions. I got a lot of questions on my last video of this one, and yeah, I'm actually very overwhelmed about all the likes, all the comments I got on my first video about this car. Very happy about it. There have been articles in news web pages around the world. They have been talking about it in the Swedish radio, and yeah, a lot of buzz around this car. So so thank you everybody that liked and shared my video. So yeah, that really gives me a boost to work on the car, spend money on the car to make this thing possible. So please like and subscribe if you want to follow on the journey to make this to a Volvo. Here is the engine block that was in the car, and it is, as I told you in the earlier video here, it is cracked. I have not found any new engine for this car or any new block, so I think I will try to weld it. The thing that happened to this car, it was in a crash, and here you have the crankcase bottom part with the main bearings. Yeah, maybe you can see the crack there, and we have the aft part, it has crack in it. Maybe you can see it there, but these parts I have from the other block I bought, so I have fresh parts. So these I can rebuild. This one, when I put in, I maybe need a line hone. It's not just a bolt-on part, actually. But the problem with the engine block, can you see the cracks? Let me show you. So big chunks of this main bearing are actually gone here. If this would be in a customer car or in my turbo car there, I would never do anything about it. But now when it's so hard to get these engine blocks, actually two different people have been trying to scam me. They want to play on being kind, sell a block cheap to me so they can see this on YouTube, but after reviewing pictures and stuff like that, it was not correct things, and they were just want to have the money. So my plan is to weld this one, and after welding it will need to be line board and line hone, and maybe actually also it needs to be decked, this surface. After that, depends on welding, we'll see. Actually I just got them for this. This block is alusil, and the block itself, it says here, there, it has 17% silicon. I think you say it's silicon in English, it's kisel in Swedish. I have to check that up. And that's because in the cylinder liners here, they are in this material, and there's a special honing procedure that removes all the aluminum, and then the silicon is the surface that pistons and piston rings are traveling against. And this material I found, the best I could find was this, and it's the filler material. It has 12% silicon here, so I hope that will do. I will try to do it here. Also I need to heat up the block, and it's a little procedure there. So it will be another video where I do the welding of this one, if I don't find another block. Also I got 50, maybe 100 messages, comments that I can use an Audi block instead. I use it from an S6, S8 or something like that, but no, that's a different block. Yeah, it has similarities, absolutely. The chain drive, everything here is about the same, but the block in this car you can only find in Gallardo's 2004 to 2008, like these two babies. So it seems that is a big misunderstanding in the car world. that it is the same engine blocks. And also this one is the 5-liter even fire. I love the sound of this one. Naturally aspirated, these ones, they sound very good. It's easier to find the 5.2-liter engine that is in Gallardos, the newer ones, Huracan and R8s. But the sound of this one, even fire V10, it's better actually than the 5.2-liter, the newer one. So I really hope to put this one together into the car again there. Even though the 5.2-liter is a little bit better engine, better oil pump here. Here's the dry sump oil pump, for example, and yeah, some other parts. By the way, the intake manifold here, these throttle bodies was pointing forward, and in the Gallardos here, they're pointing backwards. But that was a cool thing actually, that these intake runners here and the intake here, it's the same mirrored. So I can just turn the intake here 180 degrees forward and it will fit. So that's cool. I could do something like Ryan Turk's Ferrari engine GT86 with the throttle bodies going back inside here, but no, it looks a little bit better when the throttles are forward, I think. Cylinder heads and some parts here. The exhaust manifolds do fit also the left hand on the right hand side and right hand on the left hand side if you want to have them forward instead of rearward to make more room. But they, as I told in the earlier video, it's too tight here, so they will not fit anyway, the original ones, if I don't rebuild them. But I had a friend help me to actually make flanges here for it that will fit. So if I want to do headers here, I can now do it. So that's the plan, I think, to do some custom headers there. So collecting some parts for that. And exhaust, again here we have the 3-inch, what's in there before. I'm gonna show you actually what I'm collecting some parts for it. Yep, here a pile of parts, and the exhaust is going to be in this thin wall titanium. As you can hear, yeah, it's very thin wall and very lightweight. Maybe not so easy to see, but it weighs not much at all. I have collected some titanium pipes over the years, and these are actually a little bit too small for my turbo cars that I had before. There's some 3-inch pipes. These are a little bit thicker, and these are actually some flexible joints, brackets welded on there, and it's beautiful color on this ones, titanium. These are actually old airplane, they're actually brand new airplane parts. It's actually bleed air parts for bleed air in aircrafts. It looks like this when it's insulated, and these I have removed the insulation. I should try to see if I can find more of these. These will be very nice to use. I can cut some parts out of these, use them as well, and then I maybe have to buy some titanium muffler and stuff like that. But I think the engine sound will be very nice, hopefully. But who knows? This exhaust system and the sound of it, it's like a science itself. Hopefully we can someday hear how it's going to sound. I'm gonna prepare the engine bay a little bit, maybe remove some of the original wiring here to make it a little bit more clean. And also here you can see, if I go in here, I just removed this plate. It's actually the firewall. It's possible to detach these black parts here of the firewall. These were hitting the heads, and you can see here these were hitting, so I could not get the engine as far back as I wanted, so I'm gonna rebuild them there. The steering rack, it's just a temporary one there now. One thing I have made here to see if the engine will fit is I made some spacers here I moved the front beam down a little bit, some longer bolts there and the spacers, so it will have a little bit worse ground clearance, but it's still good ground clearance in this car. So I will test with this one and see how it will fit, and maybe I need to move these down as well and do some modifications here, but we'll see how it fits. Also here is the water, but this is a good thing, I can modify them without cutting in the chassis too much. It's the water for the defroster. Steering rack, I will maybe modify it here and make the entry into the engine bay a little bit lower here, so it will clear the engine a little bit better. I also have modified a little bit of the wiring here. It will not interfere with the engine up here, and also removed some of the parts. Originally the battery is here in the car, it's now in the back, has been there for many years now, but the relays, main relays here, I'm gonna put them inside here. And also one suggestion I got of many people is that tube frame it in the front, cut everything out. And yeah, that would be possible, absolutely. But I like to have as much of the original body as possible. I think this is a street car, it's a true car like that. And also many people have suggested to install the engine here in the back with the gearbox, and yeah, that would absolutely be possible, and then I have the gearbox and everything for it already. But no, I will not do that. Same thing here. I think that takes out a little bit of the soul of the car. It will be more a race car than a street car if you do something like that. That's too much modification. If you modify a street car like that, it's not that kind of cars that I really like. The engine should be in the front where it should be, and the interior here. You should have the seats in the back seats. You should be able to have your friends in the back seat. Actually, this now it's a lot of stuff here, some of the parts for the car, but this back seat here, it's possible to fold this down, and then you can have a lot of parts there. So usually when I went to like small events and stuff like that, racing, I put a lot of tools and tires there, tires on the roof rack here as well. And also I have been I have been sleeping in this car. So if I'm at a road trip or something, it should be possible to just fold the seat and put something to sleep on inside there. So that's a little crazy maybe, but I want to keep it as it is. It should not be a full-blown race car. By the way, here is a new fenders actually. They were a little bit too much corroded for my taste. Need to put some paint over it there, not too glossy, so it looks a little bit like the old paint here. By the way, I have a brand new trunk that I found a friend had for many years in storage. I will put a new one on there. Yeah, and here in the trunk, yeah, a lot of parts for now. Speaker, and possible to put things in. And this car should look like stock, not just something really rebuilt and a body on it. Okay, this is not for the Volvo. But here we have an gearbox. Yes, it's an ZF German gearbox from an BMW. F10, I believe 535i. It's rated 470 Newton meters. It looks pretty big and strong, and I think actually the rating there, usually these gearboxes hold a lot more power than that. 6-speed gearbox, it would be very nice with 6-speed, and this is from a gasoline car, not a diesel. Many people in Sweden put diesel gearboxes because they are tough and good price for them. These are a little bit more expensive, but not that expensive for how much power it will hold, I think. Actually, I'm going to cut off, I think 50 millimeters here, I will cut off. And I will weld on a plate. I have here, this is the back plate of the engine that connects to the gearbox. If I had a CNC machine or a milling machine, I could do a flange for it. I don't have it here, so I have to do it manually. I got this plate I can use. This is actually an adapter plate for I think a BMW V12 or something, but it is not going to be used for that anymore. I'm gonna take that one and see if I can get it somehow to cut it down and make a flange of this material. It's a good material, this one. And here is the plate, a little bit too big now I think, but just made with hand, so it's not very nice. I would love to have an CNC mill where I can do something like this in the future, but yeah, I think this will work actually. So I will cut off here and weld this one on. Yeah, we'll do fixture and everything. I'm gonna do a separate video of that one, how I do it, but yeah, I think it will work. And here you can see also this shaft is very big, much bigger than the Lamborghini one. This little piece here, it's actually the same as the Lamborghini one. So the bearing here that goes into the crankshaft it's the same. And here also you can see it's an oil pump. So that's a little bit racing I like with this gearbox. Most gearboxes, they have oil inside them that the gears slosh around and lubricates the gearbox. But in racing for many years they had a separate oil tank and oil pump. The gear have to travel in so much oil, it's power losses. So it's better to have an oil pump that pumps the oil and sprays oil where it should be. The Lamborghini has an oil pump originally, and of course racing like Formula 1 gearboxes have like that. And this one has a little oil pump. I'm not sure how much oil it has in this one now and how it's exactly how it's working, but this is one thing they made to make these gearboxes a little bit more efficient. Clutches here and the flywheel, lightweight one, so hopefully this one will sound very good revving instead of the bigger flywheel that is stock in the Lamborghinis. Throwout bearing, here is the original one that was on here with a separate slave cylinder on the side here. I think I'm going to make an adapter and put an hydraulic throwout bearing inside there. And also made a little bit drawing here. So this is going to be a tool when I'm going to weld this, make it centered. To make some of the holes here, I made some drill bushings, little special ones here to get the holes correctly. You see there's some old holes for this plate when it was actually an BMW V12 plate there. And it's a little bit too thick I think now. I have to see where, when I cut this off, where the gearbox will be, and after that I will cut a little bit more out of this maybe. One more thing about the gearbox. Many people say that I can take a gearbox from an S6, S8 or something, or maybe some random Audi, because they all use the same gearbox pattern. Many people say, no, they don't do it. Sorry, I checked it before I made the first video, so that's a very big misconception I think that many people have. The only gearbox that will fit my engine is from the Audi R8. Both the V8 and the V10 is the ones that will fit and have this kind of bolt pattern as you see here. And actually I think that is maybe journalists or maybe Audi themselves that fool the people, because I could read some articles when Audi introduced the V10 in some normal sedan cars. It says that it is a detuned Lamborghini engine inside it. Yeah, many parts are similar and maybe the same, absolutely, but the gearbox looks like this. This is the bolt pattern for it, and I have not seen any other Audi that has that one. But if you have proof on that one, please send me that. That would be cool, even though I now have my solution for the gearbox. And also the spacing between the cylinders here, it's different on the newer Lamborghinis, and I think this spacing this engine has is the only V10 engine that has that. And sorry guys, I say V10, but yeah, how I say it sometimes, sorry. Also some prop shop parts there and some other parts I'm collecting. Here is some HS79 hoses. I have, these are AN20. I'm planning to put as much cool things in the car as I can. This car will be a fun mix of home welded cheap stuff that I make here in the garage and some cool race parts and high quality stuff. This one it's like a Kevlar one. The green, if you can see this in race cars, it's actually the best hose you can buy. It's very lightweight and it's very strong, and I think it can take heat very good. And this one, it's maybe 1 meter for the hose only, not the hose ends and things we have here. It's around, I think it's actually more than $300 for 1 meter. So very expensive one. These are from an old race car, but I will use these for water. I've not been working with a Volvo that much last couple of days, week, because a car over there. Let's see what it is. I have been working with the electrical system on this one. This is a drifting car. It's Christian Erlandsson in Sweden that have this very cool Subaru BRC. And of course it does not have a Subaru engine. It has an Supra engine, a 2JZ engine. And this car is actually the only Swedish driver and Swedish car that drives in the Drift Masters, the biggest European drifting series this year. And I have been helping Christian for many years with his Volvo car with 5-cylinder, Volvo car with the Supra engine, and now this Supra powered Subaru. Of course, injectors and fuel pumps and stuff like that are from us here, BJP Race. Fresh for the year now. Little modification with the rear end, vintage rear end. It's going to be installed there. A new fuel tank instead of the stock one. Here's an aftermarket fuel cell with a new competition fuel cell unit. Looks very nice, and this is a very smart thing actually. It has one pre-pump inside and the catch tank that the pre-pump feeds to the catch tank, and so you have all the pumps and catch tank inside here, not much other things. We have the pressure fuel filter and the ethanol sensor on the return. And what I have been doing here is that I have put electronics in here, a new display here. This is the Link Aim display here, and it's a Motec star. And we have under here the PDM, power distribution module, and some relays, and we have the ECU over there. It's a Link one, EGT there. There are some new electrics here. A lot of this for power, for starting, for yeah, we can have this. This is a nice one, anti-lag. Yeah. Windscreen wipers, all the lights, daytime running lights, and everything. And this PDM that we have here, it's actually a very smart thing that I have in my Lamborghini, and I want to put one in the Volvo as well. This is a 15 outputs. I have a 30 in the Lamborghini, and this is smart because it's only one plus in, and all circuit breakers and relays are inside here. So you can program them as you want. You can do functions, relay functions, and also you can select what current when the circuit breaker should trip, if the circuit breaker should reset itself, and how many times it should reset. And if circuit breakers, if there's a problem with an output like a circuit breaker, you get the message here, and then you can restart it if you want. So that's a smart thing that I really like, and hope to implement in the Volvo as well, even though it's really expensive. So next things is to weld the block and to weld and fix the gearbox there, so I can put the engine back inside here again. Not fully built yet, but put the engine and gearbox in, see if the gearbox fits, to make some mounts, and see if I can get everything to fit. Steering, make room for exhaust and stuff like that. Maybe I have to cut a little bit here in the car, but I don't want to cut too much. So once again, thanks very much for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you want to follow the journey of this project of the Volvoghini. The dog here absolutely wants this one out on the road again. She loves drifting.